Yes, people, big up to you all. I hope everyone is doing well. Good morning to you if it is morning where you are, afternoon to you if it is afternoon where you are, and a good evening if it is in fact evening where you are. But overall, more importantly, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another daily roundup show. You asked the question of what is the show about? The daily roundup show is where our job is to, furnish our those that were at work, those that were at school during the day, and then have the opportunity to read or get to know about what has gone on about our beloved Chelsea Football Club. So our job is to go out there, look at things that were out there when you were busy, and then present them to you in a very, very concise manner so that it makes sense. So thank you so much. More importantly, we have only one person in the chat who says it's Nehis. We go beat Leeds for sure. Okay, Nehemiah Fawole, did you change your name to Agnes Adedoja Fawole? Anyway, more importantly, nice to see you. And I hope again those if you're watching and if you're a panelist here and you're in the group, I'd appreciate it if you have time to join and if you can be on camera, that will be excellent because that's the way this show is designed to be. But more importantly, thank you all for finding the time to join. For those of you who are watching and haven't had the time to drop a like on the stream, please kindly do so because the likes do go a long way. And we'll go into the topics one by one. Some interesting topic we have again quite a lot we have lined up to talk about this evening. Um, we'll talk about Graham Potter, of course, the elephant in the room. No matter how hard we try, the topic will still pop up. It's something we cannot avoid at this point, and it's nobody's fault. It's a situation we find ourselves in. Let's start with this particular topic right here. This one right here is saying Declan Rice is still on Chelsea's radar. We know that will never go away. Even though a week ago or so, it was in the news that he preferred to join Arsenal Football Club, and that Arsenal also have made Declan Rice a top priority for their club, so to speak. For me, do I think Declan Rice will be the right signing for us? I really do not think so. But if that's what the manager feels like, however, if even if it happens to be Graham Potter, he decides Declan Rice it was what he needs to get us to start firing on all cylinders. I would take it. I would never argue about that. He says, however, he said Declan Rice is still on Chelsea's radar. However, Arsenal is doing the groundwork right now, and there are even some whispers of them of terms being unofficially or tentatively agreed upon, or at the very least not being a problem. Arsenal are confident. Um, Here's the thing: given that Arsenal they've gone in and priced us, you could say priced us out of what's his name, Moises Casado, because they went in. The rumors were there's no way telling if that was the case. The rumors were that they went in with around 75, I think around 75 or 17 million pounds or so, and it was rejected by Brighton, which means if we have to go, if we're still bent on getting Moises Casado, it simply means we'll have to pay something north of 70 million pounds, which I didn't think I would be willing to do that. To me, it just seemed as if at this point, I think the cheaper alternative will end up, even though a year ago or so, you could argue he was the most, you could say, um, uh, it wouldn't even be possible for us to decide we want to go for him. But right now, I think as his contract winds down, I think it becomes the cheaper option for us. It probably be uh, nearly twice as much or cheaper than Moises Casado. So, but to me, if you ask me, I would say he's not a player I want at the club. And here's my bro CFCFahim. Nice to see you, brother. It's been a minute. I hope you're doing well. I know we're all busy, but thank you so much for finding the time to make it the second person in the chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I'm still following the growth of your channel, man. Yep, you put in the work, so you deserve all the growth you're seeing. Hopefully, you will see the monetization aspect of the whole thing completed. But if that's not the case, you let me know. We don't have a lot of people watching right now. 15 people watching, and not all of them are in the chat. So I don't know if it makes any sort of sense to call. Well, anyway, if you want to, I advise you. Oh yeah, you can. Again, I'll send you the link in the bit. Just give me 1 second. Let me do that. I will do that for you, bro. Oh, you don't even need to ask that way. So give me 1 second. So yeah, May I join? Why didn't I even say no? Why did I say, oh, yeah, but I'm just kidding anyway, bro. I would like to have you on the panel. And just give me a second while let determine the load so that I can add you to that. Oh, okay, you are in the group. And I'm still wasting my time trying to see, okay, let me see if I can bring this bro in. And boom, he's in there. And I was like, how is that possible? But I realized it's the group. But that's, by the way, bro, how have you been, man? It's been a minute. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, man. It's been a long time. I can't remember last time I've been on to your channel. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad to be here, man. I'm glad to be here. I
Work
mean,
and everything. Work, and
yeah,
that's good. Yeah, I know.
busy. I can't even do streams on my own channel, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that. But your channel is still growing, even though you're not producing videos, actually.
I think it's because I post news on my YouTube feed. That's why. So people just
Oh,
that's
that
what I
one
do.
too. And they're doing well. They get like thousands of
Yeah,
likes and all
yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah. But
I
post,
do that.
yeah.
I do that so I just see people's opinions, overall opinions on that thought. So it's
No, but they
interesting.
like it because they all get thousands of likes, which
Yeah,
means you're probably furnishing people with information they're not able to go find themselves. So it makes
yeah,
sense. I'm gonna
yeah,
start doing that anyway. But that's, by the
yeah,
way,
yeah.
your thoughts on the Declan Rice rumors. And I don't know if it's a player you'd like to see at Chelsea Football Club. For me, I don't think it's the one. If anything,
Mhm.
his defense he will help us become even more defensively solid. I don't think it contribute more going forward. At least in my opinion, I don't know about you. What you think is he the transfer you'd like to see happen?
I've always said that Declan Rice is a good player, but I just don't think he's worth more than 60 million. Especially the fact that his contract is running down. He shouldn't be worth more than 60 million.
Mhm.
I know in today's market, prices are inflated with so many players. But Declan Rice as a player, would he fit at Chelsea? Possibly. I do think if you want to play Declan Rice, you probably need to play him beside Enzo in a double pivot. I don't really see Declan Rice as a number single, like a single
Let's
six.
take
I
a
don't see
six.
him. Yeah, I don't see him as that sort of player. I don't see him as like the Casemiro figure or the Rodri figure that we desperately need in this Chelsea team. We need someone like Rodri or Casemiro who can just anchor that CDM role. I don't see Declan Rice as that. I don't really see him as disciplined as like Casemiro or Rodri. I do see him often at times just bomb forward, try and attack the box a lot of the times. You see him scoring goals uh, inside the box. He likes to move forward. So I do see him more as a box to box midfielder who also can do the sitting role, but it's not as good as someone like Casemiro or Rodri. But I, I I think there's definitely better alternatives, in my opinion, who can fit the profile that we need in that number six role. Um, we've brought in the scouts, we brought in the structure. We didn't have this structure during the Roman era, and
Mhm.
that was the reason why we were not sustainable as a club. We didn't bring in the right profiles for managers. We kept sacking managers, kept bringing in different profiles of players. Now we've actually got a structure. We've got a scouting team. We've got proper footballing people in the boardroom now who know what to do, who know what we're lacking right now. And we've been lacking this DM for many, many years. And I think the new Chelsea recruitment staff have definitely identified it. But it's all about finding the right profile. Declan Rice can probably be one of them, but there's definitely alternatives in the market. Definitely,
Better
100%.
alternative. Yeah. For me, my the player that tops the list of all the DMs that we're looking at is Ismail Benessa of AC Milan. He's
Mm,
not your stereotypical DM. He's got good
mm,
vision. He can create chances. He can score good goals. Surprisingly, it doesn't sound like we're looking at him, except if we are looking at him and we don't know, because he's a very fine player. Plus, again, even though he's extended his stay at AC Milan, his
mm.
buyer clause is just 50 million euros, which is nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So,
think
but
that.
I'm sure he's the one that negotiated a lower buyer clause because players are starting to learn. If you want to extend their stay at a certain club, they want to be part of that. They want to tell you, I want the buyer clause to be at a certain range in case if they decide to leave tomorrow, it will not be difficult. But we were linked with him last summer. I'm surprised at why this January we heard nothing about him. The focus was what's his name? Casado, who's not, to me, he's not a traditional DM. He's more of a box to box than a DM. Maybe Declan Rice, if they end up getting him, well, who am I to argue against the wind? I think the way he applies himself on the pitch would be probably, most definitely be based on the manager's demand, so to speak. Going forward, he's not the best, but helping you achieve you could say a solid defensive unit. He's capable of doing that, and he can also play as a CB2. So that's a plus, but he's still not close to topping my list in terms of the players I have in mind. We have Lamek Zulu. It's been a minute, brother. I hope you're doing well. Please do let me know that you're fine. He says, I'm actually praying that we lose to Leeds United. That is really concerning to me. That's how again, how much Chelsea fans want Graham Potter, want him out. But I don't think it's okay. Because where we found ourselves right now, 3 points, it could be the difference between us fighting for relegation or us making it to top 4. So I wouldn't go to the extent, even though I want him gone, I wouldn't go to the extent of praying that we lose against Leeds United. I don't think it's okay. But go ahead. It looks like you wanted to respond to that.
I think I can understand why people would feel like that. Nothing against people who feel like that. I understand it because if it means that Graham Potter is gone, okay, fair enough. But I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't want us to lose any game, to be honest, regardless if it's Graham Potter or any manager underperforming. I would not want Chelsea to lose. But I can understand fans feeling like that. It's natural, to be honest, because we've been hearing reports that if Potter loses against Leeds, he might be sacked, he might be replaced. Who knows? I don't know. I don't think there's any truth in that, in my opinion. I think even if
there's no way to tell you. I don't think it's the truth. It doesn't make any. But go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't think there's any truth in that, to be honest. As much as I do think he should be sacked by now, but I just don't see the new owners sacking Graham Potter if we don't face relegation. That's the absolute bare minimum they're willing to go. But for us, our standards is he should have been sacked weeks ago, in my opinion. And I was never like Graham Potter, and I always thought, yes, he's a good coach, but that jump from Brighton to Chelsea was a huge jump. It was a massive jump. I was never a fan of that sort of jump, but I still back him. And I still want him to do well. I still want him to do well.
Yeah, because if he does well, the club does well.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that we've invested so much money, we are begging for Potter to do something. Like, do not make the same mistake. For example, playing Koulibaly, playing Ziyech. I thought this was a project, and you're literally playing players that are not really the future for Chelsea, unfortunately. But you're playing players like Koulibaly, like Ziyech, Havertz playing up front when we need goals. Like, you're not helping yourself when you're making these lineups or substitutions. For example, 2-0 down, you bring on Mudryk and Aubameyang rather than bring them on earlier in the game. So
and again, when we need a goal, and it's bringing in a defensive midfielder rather than. But there's nothing wrong in bringing in a midfielder who we believe maybe will improve our build-up play. But in the end, he didn't bring in any attacker. Again, one of the cases he brought on Mason Mount and played him as a 9. I was like, what is going on here? But that's, by the way, from Lamek Zulu he's saying he was a Potter guy since first day. They sacked Atoko, but this guy is just not a manager worthy to coach at Chelsea. His mentality is just a shambles too. Here's the thing, I have to be honest here. I wasn't against him. When I heard he was the choice to replace Thomas Tuchel, I liked it because I liked the way his Brighton team played. But up close, even when we were winning games, when all the most content creators were going, look, again, the players are starting to enjoy themselves and all that. I was looking at the numbers. I was looking beyond the wins and beyond the unbeaten run, and I started getting concerned. I was like, there's a problem here. And I felt, okay, maybe he would look at it himself and try to sort out the situation. But he didn't. It got worse. Now look at see what we found ourselves in. First of all, he was saying we had too many players out injured, and that's one of the biggest issues we have. Now we have the players coming back. He's complaining about the size of the squad, and I'm like, duh, what's going on here, man? It's confusing to me. I'm good. I can't complain. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Music says I wanted Chelsea to lose versus Southampton as I thought he would be sacked. It didn't happen. So now what do you want? He said, like, Potter should have never been appointed. It was a mistake. And firing him will be an expensive decision. You could argue that's probably the reason why they are a bit reluctant. Maximum caretaker till January. Let's see what happens. Hello, everyone. Hello to you too. Constantine Dante. I hope you're doing well. Koulibaly is good. He's good. And I was never one of those that judged him just for games. You could argue had people paid attention that see the issue was that we didn't have proper protection from the midfield area. So when that happens, you'd see silly mistakes because the opponents were barraging us with attack after attack. So the mistakes we're going to happen anyway. Ziyech, I can be good, but this again, his head is gone. I think his mind has been out of Chelsea for a while now. We can win against Leeds, but that's about. What about Dortmund? How many times did we turn to lose? Okay, a bit confusing there. I'm not sure how to grade that one. Maybe you have to, your phone is trying to help you spell.
I think
People Simon. Good evening, Kachila and Fahim, a long time, bro. Hope you're well. Fahim, he's asking you because I spoke with him this morning. He's asking if you're okay.
Yeah, I'm doing well, DJ. So I think
awesome.
Atibo was saying, like, whenever we concede a goal, we drop our heads. Like, that's what happened against Spurs. We conceded and we did look like we were going to come back. We conceded against Southampton. We did look like we're going to come back. We conceded against Dortmund. I mean, the Dortmund game was a bit different. I think we deserved a goal at least. But it's a case of whenever we concede, it feels like a loss at the end of the game, or we're going to draw. It looks like we never come back when we concede.
And we never had a comeback under his reign, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think no. Crystal Palace. I think that's the one game I remember. We conceded a goal against Crystal Palace, and then we managed to score 2 goals. But we had to rely on Conor Gallagher to score a screamer in the 90th.
Oh yeah, beauty on the day.
Yeah. So it's a struggle. Like, we see teams like the bottom half concede a goal, but they still can come back. We just struggle. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. And it's not just a Graham Potter thing. I've seen this under Tuchel as well, to be honest. Like, under Tuchel, when we conceded goals, we didn't look like we were going to come back at times.
Yeah, but I think, he started at one point. He started under Thomas Tuchel. Yeah. What do you think that's down to? Do you think it's down to the mentality of the player? Once we concede it to them, it's over.
Honestly, I don't really. I think we lack leaders. I think that's the problem. When we had Rudiger, I think we actually had someone present in the dressing room. Right now, I think we lack leaders. We lack a spine. You look at Man United, Varane, Lissandro,
Casemiro in the middle. Yeah,
so strong. We don't really have that, to be honest. We don't have that strong spine. We don't have leaders, proper experienced leaders in the dressing room. Maybe that's the reason why our heads just turn down every single time we concede or anything that goes wrong. We don't have leaders right now. It's just too many young players is a good thing, but you need to have a balance of both. And that's the issue that I have with the Chelsea squad right now. We're trying to design this squad as like under 23s. There's good and bad, but if we want to start winning titles, we need to have both experience and talent, young talent. But yeah, I think that's the issue that we're facing right now. We don't have leaders in the dressing room right now.
Yeah, right now, again, Bobby Fairview, right now we're talking about Graham Potter. Someone in the chat added a contribution there that talked about Graham Potter. That's why we're there. We were taking it one by one as lined up on the screen, but that's fine. We're good. But bless up to you. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. And thanks again for becoming a member. Sincerely do appreciate that. That will help us achieve our aim of supporting students every month. Big up to everyone in the comments. Big up to you to DJ, up to Charles, Patrick Bateman. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Let's see subsequent comments. We've come back from worse than 1-0. Again, well, that's not on the him, and I haven't seen such on the Thomas Tuchel too. Yeah, that hasn't happened for a while. Zulu, I feel many players have turned against him, or maybe they are doing it deliberately because they are. There are times when we play good football, but the players also want him gone. I don't know if I should go thinking to that. Here's what I think. One thing is certain. I am suspecting there's a chance, if anything, they don't trust him. I don't think that it has gotten to the extent where they are deliberately underperforming to get him sacked. I think if they do that, I think the ownership will be able to sense it, and it will not be good for their, you could say, should I say, resume or whatever, for their playing career maybe. But here's one thing is certain. If you're leading a squad or if you're leading an organization that is not even football, and those you're leading are not seeing results, at one time, whatever you're saying to them, it will not sink in because they don't trust you. What do you think, Fahim?
Yeah, you're spot on. I think even Tuchel said it in a podcast that he did recently, that it's very easy to say trust in the process, but results also matter. Like, results matter. You need to gain that trust. You need to buy your time. And that's what Tuchel did. He gained trust by winning games, winning titles, Champions League, trophies. He bought his time and bought trust as well for doing that. So results 100% matter. You need to see progression. I think with Graham Potter, it's just a lot of people have backed him too much from the start when, to be honest, like, yes, we were winning games, but there were context to it. We weren't winning like convincingly. There were a few games where we deserved to win, but there were other wins that or draws that we probably didn't deserve to win. We probably deserved a loss at that time. But with Graham Potter, I keep seeing a lot of people saying trust the process before like the Southampton games, all that stuff. Trust the process; it will work out. Just have to wait. There's no evidence to suggest that we will actually do well in the future. There's no evidence to suggest that that this process will work out. So you're just hoping at this point. You're hoping that this process works out. You're not trusting it. Whereas with Tuchel, it was more of a trust because you knew what he would deliver. He would deliver titles, and that's what we want at Chelsea Football Club. Graham Potter does not scream someone that will deliver titles because he's not proven anything to gain that trust from the fans or the players. And I think the players have seen that already. The senior players have already seen it. Kovacic, Sterling, all these experienced players, why would they be here for the process? Their careers are almost ending. They want to win titles now. So I think that's another reason why I think some of these players like Sterling, Kovacic, maybe you can even include Silva, maybe like a lot of these players that have won titles under Tuchel and previous years, they probably don't have any trust in Graham Potter because they know that he's not the guy to win titles. So
yeah, and you make some delicious points there. Some of them they're not younger anymore.
yeah,
If they want to win anything, it has to be now. They can't wait. They cannot be part of the long-term process. So it makes sense. And again, something else you said that's very important. People don't pay attention to that. As much as we're saying get rid of player A, B, C, we need experience. We need a mix of experience and youth, because the youth, you could say, are the reasons why when we concede, they sulk. There's no coming back. When you have the older ones, like we miss Rudiger, when he's on the pitch, you don't sulk. You see him talking, even though he's not the captain, you see him talking to his teammates, and he leads by example too. But this one, the whole team will start sulking. Even the manager on the sideline, you won't see any measure of energy coming from him or instructions to ginger the players. It's concerning, really, to me.
Yeah.
As much as I want to look beyond his behavior on the touchline, it's so concerning that when we're goal down, the coach of the opposition team will still be the most active on the touchline. DJ says, Kachila, did you read the embarrassing article I sent you about Cooper possibly being a replacement for Potter? I nearly fell off my living room couch when I read that. I haven't read it, but it's concerning, really. Cooper was again, is this the Nottingham
Nottingham
Forest
Forest.
coach? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Here's the
Okay.
thing, I don't believe it.
No, it's not true.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
not true.
believe it because we can't go. I don't think he's actually done anything close to what even Graham Potter, who we have now, have done. Even the Zerbi, the current Brighton coach, I don't want him because he's no
Yeah.
different from Graham Potter. It's the same thing. It's the same risk. I
Hmm.
will be honest, learn their lessons. They're just not enjoying the football under his style, and he has not changed it up or to try new things to see what can happen. Surprisingly, that's the case. Mr. Polito, way nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Remember, some reported Rudiger fouling, challenging players in training. People acted as if that was a bad thing. Nothing bad about that. Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Remember, and this is
Mhm.
the reason why I got blocked by Matt Law. This is the reason why I got blocked by Matt Law because he was the one that released that article saying, "Oh, Rudiger bullies the young players." I remember that time. Oh, and then you had Tammy Abraham coming up. No, Rudiger never does that. He's literally one of the most I don't know caring person in the dressing room in the squad. So I caught him for making that stupid article, and he
And
blocked
he
me. So.
blocks you.
Yeah, he didn't like the truth.
Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. They don't really. He says you can wait to see if players can handle adversity on match day. It starts in training. Yeah, you
Mm,
practice the way you want to play in a match day. You don't just train differently, and then in match day you want to just turn into something that you've not been practicing. It doesn't make
yeah.
sense. Rudiger will always be Rudiger. You cannot trust the process with Potter because there is none. There's confusion. That's at most there's confusion. Since the day we switched up to a back four, we've been dreadful. James looks lost many times, almost worse. Enrique is the coach for me, considering the direction we're moving in. Let me ask you this: there's been an argument. Remember, under Thomas Tuchel, the most you could say heard argument regarding structure is go to back four, stop playing back three,
Mm,
stop playing back three. Now, uh, he's gone to back four and
yeah.
because we're not winning games, the argument has now they've started arguing go back three so you get the best out of Reece James and who
Mm,
what's his name Reece James and Ben Chilwell.
eventually.
They forgot if you the moment we switch to a back three, there's no space for wingers.
Mm,
There's
yeah,
no
yeah,
space for
exactly.
wingers,
Yeah,
yeah, because the wing if you do that, then you're killing the sole purpose of having wing backs because wing backs
yeah.
they leave that channel for them to bump forward, and then whoever instead of playing wingers, then you have two eights or
Hmm.
2 10s. It depends on the
Yeah, yeah.
application. They forgot that, and we have 100 million plus in total wingers, and Noni
Yeah.
Madueke and what's his name, Hilo
Modric.
Mudrik, and also Raheem Sterling is also a winger. If you really want to
Hmm.
be honest, the most he's done is a 10 and 8, but he's played consistently more on the wing. So it's not that simple, really.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
now you accommodate Ben Chilwell and Reece James. Now you have problems for the forward. I don't know what you have to say to that.
I agree, 100% agree. I think the reason why we switched to a back three under Tuchel is because we didn't have enough wingers. We had
Mhm.
Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi who were not reliable in terms of availability, and they were not necessarily good. They weren't starter quality at that time. So that's why we went to a back three under Tuchel, and it made sense because we had Thiago Silva playing in central centre back role. It fits him. Yeah, Jorginho as well has been covered around left centre back, all that sort left wing back. Sorry, so it suited the personnel at the time. Now what Graham Potter has done is what the scouting team has done is bring in uh, actual wingers, and that wingers allows Reece James and Ben Chilwell not to bomb forward as much, to
Yep.
play
And
more
and not
inverted.
get injured every time they play every
Yeah,
30 minutes. Go ahead. Sorry for cutting you off.
yeah, exactly. Not only that, I think you've seen at times we've seen Ziyech playing almost like against Spurs. We've seen Ziyech playing like that wing back role almost for Chelsea. So Graham Potter's trying to switch it up in terms of instead of playing wing backs with Ben Chilwell and Reece James, because it's not really reliable, even though they are very good at it, it's not reliable because it requires a lot of running, intensity, up and down running. He's trying to switch it up with actual wingers, actual attacking wingers. But the problem is we're not seeing any attacking pattern. We're not seeing any goals. It looks worse. It looks worse than actual playing wing backs. It looks a
Yeah, it
lot worse.
does.
So I don't know if it's a solution, but I think that's what he was trying to do, and it's not really working right now. I don't. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah, to me, I wouldn't say that the formation or structure, or however, again, whatever people prefer to call it, is the problem. I think the problem is beyond that. The problem to me mainly lies on how they train. So, which means, to be
Yeah,
specific, the manager, I don't think they're being well coached. That's why instead of seeing them play consistently, you see so much confusion. I don't know if it comes down to him chopping and changing all the time and not trying to have a stable 11 and then go from there. We've used the example of Thomas Tuchel when he came. He started from the basics, just simplify things. He didn't try to do
yeah,
too much. We
mhm,
all know that Thomas Tuchel actually didn't start to play with this preferred structure until he
yeah,
left Chelsea.
yeah, yeah,
But still, he
yeah,
was able to manage through. He didn't try to again to his philosophy remained the same. But in terms of structure, I didn't think he really played it the way he liked to play until he left. That's
yeah.
why maybe I'm
I agree.
questioning. Doesn't look like Graham Potter is simplifying things. He's just maybe trying to overdo it. We can
Yeah,
see in real time how new players are a shadow of their former selves under Graham Potter. Honestly, yeah. And even the new signings that did well under Thomas Tuchel, they're now struggling on the ground. Potter. Koulibaly started well. But, what's his name?
yeah,
Kukurea started well under Thomas Tuchel. He's corrosive. Bali is in a catch 22. Sack him and look clueless or fail on the pitch. I don't know why it's taking them too much. Again, it seems like as if it's not easy for them. Mudryk can play 10, Felix can play 10, Mount can play 10, even Havertz can play 10. So maybe you're arguing that makes it easier. Let's see. I think I'd rather use Mudryk where he can put his pace into good use.
mm,
But let's see what Graham Potter does. It's good. It's a drama. It's okay. You're talking about a show right now. Let's see. A lot of Chelsea fans from everywhere you're discussing something. TT never trusted Pulisic. That's why Pulisic wanted to leave. Tuchel wasn't perfect. I'm not arguing he's perfect. He's done, like, for instance, I had issues with Thomas Tuchel dropping what's his name, Hakim Ziyech to the bench at a point where Ziyech, you could see, we saw his best form since he's joined us. He was tracking back. He became he tracked back very well. He was winning area duels. He's also scored a few goals, assisting goals, and all of a sudden he dropped him to the bench, and he hardly played then. Then what we
mm.
saw was what's his name, the German international, to Timo Werner playing week in week out. I didn't like that about Thomas Tuchel, really.
Well,
Um,
the one
mhm.
thing, before he got the sack, I did like the fact that he kept on playing Mason Mount, Kai Havertz this season
Oh yeah,
when they weren't even in good form at all, and he was consistently playing them for no reason and consistently not subbing them off. I don't know why. Don't know why. I think the only explanation I can give is the fact that he trusted them more than the other players, but they were not helping him. They were never helping him. But
the thing, and you could argue one thing he has in common with Graham Potter is late substitutions.
yeah,
They don't make changes early. And again, he played Mason Mount. He played them. You could say, I think, for me, my realization is that he values Mason Mount's industry more than anything else. He didn't even.
mm,
I don't think Mount learned anything from Thomas Tuchel. He valued his energy because he's a manager. He's into pressing, so he wants Mason on the pitch. Even when Mason was mentally tired, he kept playing him because Mason
yeah,
Mount, even when he's mentally tired, he still do a lot of running for you. I think
yeah,
Thomas Tuchel valued the industry he brings to the team. Than he didn't
yeah,
coach him much. So I'd argue, as much as I love Thomas Tuchel, he didn't coach him much, and I don't think he learned anything from him. Great content as always. Pleasure watching the growth of the channel and all the Chelsea faithful in here. Thank you so much for saying that. Lee Soleil, that's my friend and brother who's a Manchester United fan. I appreciate all the support, and I do hope you're doing well. Eugene Nati, can I tell you something, Kuchila? Today is football. Everything about buying players, buy best players, and you have a chance to win big trophies. That's the truth. This thing with Potter and young players, it's not going to work. Some people argue that, like Fahim said already, we need balance. If you go with young players, if you find yourself a goal down, it's difficult. Usually, young players, should I say, they don't have the grit, they don't have the spine, they don't have that strong mentality to still believe, you know what, we can still get a goal back and even win this game.
I think it's
It just seemed, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, you go ahead. Sorry.
Now, it just seemed as if they concede a single goal, that's it. They feel like they've lost the game. Go ahead if you wanted to say something for him.
I think it's also about systems. You need the right profiles as well. It's not always about buying the best players. I mean, you look at Liverpool, they didn't really buy best players. They bought profiles that suited their system. And if you have that system that actually works well and wins games, you need to sign the right profiles. And right now, we're not seeing any system. We're seeing something that's completely dysfunctional. So that systems plays a huge part in modern football right now. Maybe
Yeah,
back in the days when Roman bought the club, it was all about buying the best players. But nowadays, it's system. Like you don't see Pep Guardiola always buying the best players. You see him buying players that suit his system. So
and usually they don't spend that much on players. They don't spend too much on players. It's just good scouting overall.
Yeah,
like you said, players that fit the system or the project if you prefer.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, Ziyech can play 10, Pulisic can play 10. Pulisic, yeah, but I don't think that's space for him at Chelsea. Bobby Fergie says chronic injuries to Chile and Reece were probably a direct result of that back three, a wing-back play system. It is the only reason that we might favor a four at the back. Probably the reason why Graham Potter himself, in recent games have played with a four at the back approach. And you can argue the four at the back structure has actually helped us achieve defensive solidity. And that's why I argued strongly. I don't think he will revert to a back three against what's the last game? Was it Fulham or so? What was the last game again?
Spurs.
Against Spurs, yeah. I didn't expect him to go back to that because it would be a huge risk. Plus, Spurs they're well drilled in terms of playing with a back three structure. If we try to counter that by going with the same structure, I think it would have been a huge risk, and they would have actually scored more goals. I don't know who made the decision to buy 16 players in 6 months, but this is not how things work in football. It has to be gradual, but you could argue circumstances forced us to do that. We had Antonio Rudiger leave, Andres Christensen left. What's his name? Marcos Alonso also left. So yeah, we had no option to buy areas that we have for a long time now trying to get in reinforcement, plus the defenders. So that's why we had to go to buy as many players as we did. Graham Potter has mastered the art of excuses. You could argue that's a solid argument. Yeah,
the excuse of we have too many players. It's a really, really bad excuse.
That one really doesn't make any sort of sense. Because he started by saying we have too many players out injured. Now the excuse is that he has a bloated squad. Well, it's your job. Cut them. You can, if you want to excise some players, you do so. It doesn't hurt. You have to stamp your authority. Do what you ought to do to get the team firing on all cylinders, if that makes sense. My problem with Potter is that he knows that he cannot be sacked because he feels he's here for long. The previous management wasn't perfect, but the fact that they made it clear if it doesn't work or if you don't win, if one doesn't win trophies, you'll go. Yep. I don't think it lasts as long as it's lasted at Chelsea. Had Abramovich still, if it was still the owner right now. Let me see what else. It says when I said our best players, I mean we must start to beating the big clubs on the market. I get that argument. I think I know what you mean by that. It will be a big mistake though if you sell Mount. I am here in Liverpool are confident of getting a deal done. Hope that's not true. Here's the thing. I think deep down that Mount is more likely to leave Chelsea than remain at Chelsea. Why do I say that? He has about 16 months or so, or even less, even something less left on his contract, which means he has all the cards. He tells the club what he wants, and if the club doesn't meet his requirements in terms from the perspective of the wages that he's demanding, there are other clubs that I believe that would be willing to pay him more than what we're offering him.
Yeah.
And I don't think the club will, after getting recent to sign a 6 year, I think is it 6+ contract on the new signings. I don't think they do anything different for him. He's not that special. He's not in great
Yeah.
form that you'd say, maybe they'd say because of his form, let's just give him what he wants.
Yeah. You know what? I mentioned this point like ages ago that the fact that Mount's contract has not been sorted, don't be surprised if he gets sold in the summer because of the fact that we've brought in Felix,
Mm-hmm.
who that is a potential in the summer, and then Nkunku as well, and then you have maybe other signings that could replace Mount. I said that like 3 months ago, when people were saying, "Oh no, that's negative. That's negative. Why are you saying sell Mason Mount?" It's not really negative because if we can't agree on a contract, I'd rather we sell him than lose him on a free because he's valued quite highly. As much as I don't think he should be valued that highly, but he is actually valued quite highly, like around 40 to 50 million. If with the current situation with his contract, it's quite a lot of money and it can help our balance the books. So I said that at the time that both or either Kai Havertz or Mason Mount will leave Chelsea Football Club this summer, mainly because we've got Nkunku coming the next season. Felix could be another one. I don't see how we can accommodate this many players in the same position. They all play in the same attacking mid, number 8, whatever you want to call it, position. How are they all going to fit
Mm-hmm.
in? Some of them have to leave. And I said at the time that Kai Havertz or both Mason Mount will leave. And you're seeing reports that both of them could actually leave. I see these owners, they don't carry any sentiment. They didn't carry any sentiment with Tuchel. They didn't carry any sentiment with the players that left. Like they don't care if they don't perform and they don't agree with their demands, they can go. That's how it went with Tuchel, and it can happen with Mount now. And
Yeah,
I think
it's that simple. It's business. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, exactly. Mason Mount, like if they don't agree with the contract, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets sold to Liverpool. I think Liverpool is the only club that's really interested in him next season. So
If it's what's his name if it's
Jurgen Klopp.
Jurgen Klopp's he fits his approach. Lots of energy, lots of running. I think somebody said he will be an upgrade. Upgrade to what's the Englishman too?
Henderson,
The older one.
Milner.
Milner, he's English, right? Am I
Yeah,
confusing him?
Milner.
Yeah, yeah, Milner. Yeah, I think he'll be an upgrade to Milner. I think Mount. If he, I think here's the thing. As much as I don't think he's a bad player, I don't think he's a worst. I don't think he's the best player either at Chelsea. I
Hmm.
think he should go to a place where the manager would treat him as a potential and still knows he needs a lot of coaching. He needs
Yeah,
a lot of coaching. I think he didn't get that under Lampard. He didn't get that under Thomas Tuchel. He's not getting that from Graham Potter either. The focus for the managers is played on that beyond when he went on loan the Dutch league. That's when he got a good coaching there. But beyond that, it's been the focus has always been his energy, his industry, the amount of running he does on the pitch, his pressing and all that. Forgotten that he was still, I think he's 24 now, 23. I think that those managers in question would have done more to help him improve as a player, but unfortunately they didn't do that. Given what we have on the screen here, the argument with regards to me saying we achieved defensive solidity by playing with a back four structure, he's saying here that's an interesting point, coach, because the current argument is that the back three makes us more solid defensively. You have to be specific. I want to know, but if you're saying back three makes us more solid defensively, I'd say no.
I would.
Why? Because he
Yeah.
doesn't play it with a defensive. He plays it with attacking intent, and that's
Hmm.
why when Graham Potter does it, he doesn't play traditional wing backs in the wing back position. He plays wingers in the wing back position, and he did that again. That was exactly what he did. Was it I think against Brighton? He did it against Salzburg too, and it didn't really work. And you
Newcastle.
can't, and it's a risk in the sense that when you're playing with a back three, you need the sixes to be defensively solid, to be able to read the game quite well. So
Hmm.
for instance, when the left wing back man is again, if he joins the attack, one of the sixes on the left-hand side would read the game so well and be at a lot. If the opposition tried to hit us on the break on that side, that person would drift to the left to cover that space. But we don't have players so capable of reading that game quite well right now. That's my problem. I don't know if you have anything to add to this one.
Yeah, it's personnel. We don't really have the personnel that, especially in midfield, that are disciplined and can read those potential. Like Loftus-Cheek, like, I'm sorry, this guy is not disciplined in defending, and he should not be playing.
Traditionally, he's not a deep line midfielder.
Exactly, and that's the reason why it just doesn't work out in terms of our midfield. Our midfield is still imbalanced. Even with Enzo, it's still very imbalanced. Enzo is not really a deep line playmaker. We're using him wrong, and that's why he's not looking the Enzo that we saw in the World Cup. He should be playing more advanced, more attacking, but he's being forced to play more deep, and he needs
to be off. That he needs to have the independence to be more adventurous. Go ahead. What you were saying. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, exactly. The way you worded it it's I agree, completely agree. And like the left centre back, you saw under Tuchel when you were playing a back three, you saw Rudiger push up very high when it came to pressing. So they, and not only that, I just don't see the team when it comes to playing a back three. I don't see it being coached well under Graham Potter. We saw it against Brighton, against Newcastle. It just doesn't look. It just looks so odd. I don't know what it is. It's just we just don't know how to control the ball when we play a back three under Graham Potter. Under Tuchel, it was different because we actually tried to press. Under Graham Potter, we don't really press. We just sit back. We sit back and we just wait till the opposition misplaces a pass. So that's how I see it, man.
Yeah, this comment here which says there's no role in the first team for Mason Mount unless we'll play a 4-3-3 structure. And even then, he found himself in an average position ahead of Mudryk. Yeah, I think if you play Mount on the flanks, he usually gets confused. He gets lost in the game. Whatever if you want him to be effective to any acceptable measure, he has to be central in most cases. In the 4-3-3 structure, if you put him on the flanks, it will just be him running around without productivity or being a proper.
You know what? I think when it came to his average positioning, I think I can't remember who it was. We were playing a 4-3-3. Enzo deep. I think it was against Fulham. Enzo is number 6. You had Mount and Gallagher. Them two played like strikers in that game. They played like strikers. They were ahead of our attackers, which made no sense. And the fact that Graham Potter didn't tell them to drop deeper, it's a concern. It's a massive concern. We saw Mount playing so high up when Enzo needed some support when there was no support around him. So I think that's...
I'm gonna catch up with what happened in the chat. I'll come back. That's an important question I want to ask Fahim, because I know it's probably late where you are, so I don't want to be wasting time until you decide to run. But go ahead. You were saying something. It looks like you were still talking and I cut you off.
No. That's fine. It's fine.
All right. Thank you. This one, making people uneasy about the job. They are about to get it very vital because they tend to work extra hard because they don't know whether they will have it or not. It's about the mentality of the new owners. You could argue that. Thomas Bay says 4-3-3 is a screaming success right now. You think? No, I don't think so. We need to be aggressive. The last time we tried 4-3-3, I think there was so much confusion on the pitch. We didn't understand what was really going on. The new panelist is spitting some facts. His name is Fahim, and he has one of the fastest growing YouTube channels. At one point, we were like 4,000 or so. Boom, 20, 30, 40, and now he's 60,000 plus. So if you haven't, it's just that I'm struggling to properly program Nightbot to help me do that whenever he's on here. Go click. I'm going to share the link, and I'll share I'll put his information in the description section. I have his credit set somewhere so that you can go check it out and subscribe. Lots of good videos too. But he's still in school, so hardly finds time to make video or do live streams. His name is Fahim, so don't call him the new panelist again. But he has his own channel. I just think he felt like, you know what, let me go support my bro. but I know again I'm just kidding. But his name is Fahim.
Mm.
He was excellent under Lampard in Derby, but it's just a championship. But again, a lot of running, not much coaching. I have to be honest. I don't want Mount to go, but Klopp could. I'd really, not being selfish, I really would want to see Mount go where he'd be coached very well, where the manager will recognize he's a young player and probably hasn't reached the heights people believe he's capable of reaching, and that's just the fact. Good, everyone, whatever time they are in on Taha. Nice to see you, Taha. People, if you're watching, we have 31 likes. If you happen, take a second, drop a like on the stream, and please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. So here, Fahim, I want you to weigh in on this one too. He says, yes, defensively solid. I don't have a point of view in this case, but I just hear the argument that it doesn't allow us to have enough attackers. No, I disagree. I've heard that argument before. Pay attention. In the back three structure, you're playing, in the case of Thomas Tuchel, the way he liked to play in most cases, you're playing with only 3 recognized defenders. The wing backs, their primary responsibility isn't really to defend. That's why we've seen Loftus-Cheek play there. That's why we see what's his name, Raheem Sterling play on the left-hand side. Their primary responsibility is to help overload the midfield area and the attacking area. Those that are tasked to just watch what's going on are the 2 sixes. Just pay attention not to leave those spaces because those guys are joining the attacks. Even, I think Graham Potter, he played it like that at Brighton. At one point, he had, what's his name, Trossard play in the left wing back position, but with attacking intent, not with defensive intent. So people get it wrong. Maybe even Antonio Conte, it is mainly to attack, not necessarily to defend. But he's mastered it so well. I don't know where he does it. Before you know it, the wing backs are also not helping defend. So I wouldn't say no. I don't think. No, I don't think so. I don't know if you have anything to add to this, or should I move on?
I think when people mention 3 at the back, they think it's defensive. Defensive. Pep Guardiola plays 3 at the back. I think people forget. Nathan Ake, you have Kyle Walker and Ruben Diaz. They play the back 3. And then in front of them, the 2 sixes, Rodri, Gundogan, and then the wingers is Grealish, Mahrez. I think that's what Potter is trying to do in this case. Formation, I've always said this, formation is just structure. It's just how you want to structure on the pitch. It doesn't mean whether you're attacking or defensive. It's how you use it.
The application is what matters, not where the player is positioned on the pitch. But unfortunately, I think majority of the fans, the way they understand football is just result. We win, we lose, and something like that. They don't understand that the structure is different from application. Most people don't see it like. That's why once they see a manager play with the back 3, the argument is usually that it's a defensive approach. No, it's not. It's actually more with attacking intent. Go ahead.
It's more numerical advantage because when we were playing, there were games against, I don't know who it was, but whenever Ben Chilwell or Cucurella had the ball, no options, absolutely no options, they lose the ball. Whereas if you play a back 3, there's options because you have a numerical advantage. The back line, you can pass it backwards because you've outnumbered the opposition attackers. Right? They're trying to press you, but you've outnumbered them. So there were times where we played a back 4, Cucurella, Ben Chilwell have the ball, no option to pass backwards because the opposition have already pressed him, and then you have Cucurella, Ben Chilwell, have no one on the midfield or anyone in the wings because they're already marked and they lose the ball. Whereas if it's the back 3, you have that numerical advantage over the opposition attackers that you can actually back pass, and even the goalkeeper if you want to count it. So it's all about numerical advantage. I think people need to try to understand that that's why you have managers at the top level play this system. It's not a bad thing. It's football evolving. It's football being evolving.
Football has evolved so much. We're seeing the traditional number 9s are actually a dying breed right now. But still, most people don't understand that. They still want you to play with the traditional number 9. I think at one point we'll start hearing it. Even players, even developing players from a very young age, don't want to be that your stereotypical number 9. Thank you very much for putting that so well. Hi Lalo, my Barcelona friend. How are you doing? Good job, you guys won today, 1-0. Good job there. Hi, Coach. Please hi to you too. I hope you're doing well. Glenn, big up, bro. I hope you're doing well. I came to say a quick hello to Coach Fahim in chat. Gotta get up in about 5 hours. Enjoy the rest of the day of the Chelsea. Thank you so much, brother. Much love to you. See you during the Blue Morning Show if you have time. And Fahim, please, whenever you get a chance, can you share the link to your channel in the chat so that people can go subscribe? What do we have here? Our last hope will be Enzo and Zakaria. Yep, and then Zakaria can be the more disciplined of the two sixes, while Enzo will have the independence to be more adventurous on the pitch. I think we'll get the best out of him. But of all the players who paired him with, from Loftus-Cheek to Mateo Kovacic, I think no, those won't help him. When you can say when he's paired with Kovacic, I expect him to be the one to be the more disciplined of the two, because Kovacic can't even read the game, let alone break up opposition play. Loftus-Cheek, the same thing. So yeah, I think we'll get the best out of him. Probably, yeah, with the pairing of him and Zakaria. But Zakaria has the tendency to overlap. Traditionally at the DM, he's capable of fulfilling that role because he can read the game very well and can be at the right place at the right time. Maybe with the instructions of the manager to play, with caution and not to be too adventurous, I think that will go a long way. Just quickly, Fahim, hopefully you still have time. I'm going to pin the link to Fahim's YouTube channel. Please go check it out. If he gets to 1,000 soon, I'll be celebrating because he's a bro indeed and a good guy. And I know he'd reach that soon. Pin a message. Let me see. Yep, I've pinned the message. That's the link to Fahim's YouTube channel. Please be sure to go subscribe. I think I was number 2 after you. Number 2 after what was he saying? I'm not sure.
No, I'm not sure.
Okay. The problem is that Potter doesn't have the resume, not the record to be a Chelsea coach. I'm going to stop a bit and talk about that in a bit. That's important. His pedigree is important. If he has the pedigree, even if things are going the wrong direction, if he speaks, players will still listen to him and say maybe they believe in that it's not his fault. But in this case, things aren't working out. Players will start questioning whether he knows what he's doing or not. And we're seeing something to that effect too out there in the media, saying some players are questioning, yeah, he's a good guy, but they don't think he'd be able to measure Thomas Tuchel in terms of, and Klopp and Pep Guardiola in terms from a tactical perspective. And that's the truth. I don't blame him. If that makes sense. At this rate, I cannot even love him. I cannot even love him. My head to coach the men's team, even just for 2 years. I can even love. Okay, I can even love. Not love. Yeah, she's a good coach, but I don't think it happens. I'll probably let you know she wants to stay with the women's team. She's gotten an opportunity from a championship team, but she refused it. Our rivalry with Leeds is a serious. Potter has to do something. Let's see what happens. Man City has better players, but they will never win a Champions League because they are actually overhyped. I'm not sure what to believe from that you're coming. Yeah, but application also depends heavily on personnel. True. So what's the net impact from having more defenders? I think that was Mourinho's point when he called a back three conservative. Here's the thing: it depends on the personnel. Like Graham Potter doesn't like to play a back three approach with traditional wing backs. He likes to deploy wingers in that wing back position. Probably that's why you could say he's reluctant about, he hasn't done that since Chilwell and James are both fit. He hasn't done that. If he's done it, maybe I'm not paying attention. I
think when it comes to the back three, even if he plays Ben Chilwell, Reece James, and he wants to go defensive, it goes against the whole thing. Why we signed Graham Potter in the first place? Because I thought we brought him in to bring a style, and if you go against it, I think it could turn out badly. It could turn out badly. It could backbite.
Yeah, and it's already good, right?
Yeah, it's not good now. I know that, but it could go even worse. It could go even worse.
Oh my word! When is this trouble really? Potter has to be a good coach. How can you stay in the Premier League for 4 years while having a lower goal for and a goal against every year?
Yeah.
goal for again, goal against every year. That's the thing. One thing is this. Maybe I do not understand your comment very well, but a lot of people say he's the good guy. He's the good guy. He's the good coach. Being a good coach is different from being a good tactician, if that makes sense. But I get you. I truly do understand what you're saying. And if you're watching, here's the link to Fahim's YouTube channel. Please go check it out and subscribe. Yep, you will not regret it. Coach, are you taking Enrique? I take Enrique. I was a bit reluctant when people mentioned him. I did argue he's not the right guy, but I paid attention to him. He's a more pragmatic version of Pep Guardiola, if that makes sense. He likes tiki taka, but he likes, again, he wouldn't mind playing dirty to win games if the situation calls for it. I subscribe. Okay, yeah, thank you very much. At least one more. But it makes a difference too. Sorry, Coach, I was bragging to Glenn that I was member number 2 on the channel. I think we have 6 members right now, and it keeps growing. So thank you so much. I appreciate you joining. And eventually I will come up with a solid show specifically for the members. All good, Glenn. Again, that one, by the way, here's the question I have for you, Fahim. They told us the man has about 2 games to save his job, 2 games. So the question is, what if he beats Leeds and beats, we end up beating, overcoming the deficit and beat Dortmund? Do you think that should be enough to say, yeah, he's the man? To me, I don't think so.
No. After that Southampton loss, I said this guy, not even just a loss, but it's the interviews as well, that he comes out and saying players have worked hard and coming out with so much nonsense in the press. Like, it screams, he doesn't scream like a Chelsea manager. That's the problem I have. And I think when you want to become a coach at the top level and you want to achieve something at the top level, you have to have some sort of arrogance and personality. You need to show something on the touchline. Sometimes not like be. You don't have to, but I'm saying you have to show that personality.
In the sense, he doesn't have to. If we're winning games, his personality and his behavior on the touchline will be the least of our problems. But it's not working, so we're allowed to nitpick what we talk about him. But go ahead. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, I just think because you need to have that sort of personality, that arrogance, in order to win titles. You need to show that in the media. You look at Pep, you look at Klopp, you look at even Arteta, you look at Conte. These managers have some level of arrogance and they have personality. They have a character. You need to have that at top level. And I just don't see Graham Potter I don't see him having that personality in the future. I don't see him having that. I don't see that sort of personality right now. And not only that, I just don't see him instructing the players properly. I don't see him change things or try be vocal about his changes on the pitch. Whereas you need to be vocal. You can't just be clappy all the time. You need to try instruct the players that the clear message. I saw one clip where he was trying to call Kai Havertz and Kai Havertz didn't listen. It's clear that I don't see him as.
Sorry, can you say that again? He tries to do what to Kai Havertz?
He tried to instruct something to. I think he was trying to call Kai Havertz to listen to him, and then I don't know. Kai Havertz didn't bother listening. I don't know what happened, but I saw there was one clip that I saw. But it's clear that Graham Potter does not really scream like a Chelsea manager. He doesn't really have the arrogance. He doesn't have the personality. He doesn't have the pedigree, the respect from the players. If you want to win titles, you need to have that respect as well. You need to have the respect from the players, the trust. And I don't think he has that. And that Southampton performance was, it's enough for me. He would have to do a lot to gain the trust, like to back him for the long term.
But look at this. That's why I'm concerned. That's why I'm saying, what if he wins them? But as much for me, even though that would be the case, I really do not want us to lose any of those games. He says, if Potter wins his next 2 league games, he stays until the end of the season. His reputation is probably already too damaged to be there longer. That's my concern.
The problem I have right now is with the owners rather than on Graham Potter, because I think they've made a huge mistake in giving him a 5-year contract. Massive mistake. And they're trying to cover it up by these PR stories. Oh, we're backing Graham Potter. Look at Arteta. Look at Klopp. I'm hearing these comparisons are not comparable at all. You cannot compare this situation Graham Potter is in with Jurgen Klopp or with Arteta. And I think the owners know they kind of screwed up giving him a 5-year contract, £60 million contract, 12 million a year. I think they know, but the reports are coming out saying the opposite. Oh no, they're backing him. And then the reason they're saying that is because they're trying to hide their mistakes. They already know, right? They're not that stupid. They know that we've given, because I heard that in baseball they do give out big contracts to
They do,
managers.
yeah, long-term contracts. Yeah, I think I
Yeah,
heard.
and I think they tried to do that with Graham Potter, and it's not worked out well. Not worked out well. I think the best case scenario in these situations mid-season is to give short-term contracts, see how they do, and then if they pass that test, then give him the long contract, give him that 5-year contract. But that I don't know. There was a report that came out that also said that Tuchel failed the test and Potter didn't fail it. He passed it. I don't know what the test was. Honestly, what was that test? I don't know what test they were giving out to Potter that he managed to pass that test and Tuchel didn't. I don't know what it was, but that I have
Maybe,
more of
yeah,
the issues with
maybe
the
yes
owner.
man test.
Yeah. Pretty much
Probably that's the only
yes, man.
test I know. Yeah, I'm not sure what to say to that. What else we have here? For not listening. Of course, they make mistakes. It's no secret, but they need
Yeah.
to fix that. And here's the thing. I think who was that? I think it was Bobby Fairview in the chat that says we should stop. I think he says he's blaming the owners. It's no longer going to be fighting because everything is in their hands now. Whatever decision they make is up to them. But I'm just gonna Fahim speaking. DJ, why are you making me jealous? Is he the only person on the panel?
We're both speaking
Seriously?
facts. We're both
So
speaking
he's
facts.
speaking, and I'm speaking fake news here for all this while, giving all my energy. All you want to say in the chat is Fahim spitting facts.
We're all speaking
Really,
facts.
DJ?
We're all speaking facts.
Win next 2 games. I'm still Potterab. To me, until he wins Champions League, but I've never gone into saying Potterab because I feel like it won't change anything. But all I want to say is he's not the man. They need to do something. Clearly, he's not the man. Even when we were winning games, I was one of those. I was happy. He was the one that was appointed. That will be replacing Thomas Tuchel. But up close, I saw he doesn't learn. It doesn't look like he looks at the previous game to say, okay, something like this happened. I don't want to see it in the next game. I've seen it gotten worse. It looks like now it just seems as if the pressure is getting to him and it's gotten worse in the sense that you could say his decisions, you could say he behaves like the pressure has gotten to him so much that it has started to impair his judgment. The way he responds to his in-game changes and all that, the times that with him makes changes and all that. I mean, I think it's getting to him. And I've argued before. I know my bro and friend Roger thinks otherwise. I think he's becoming a bit too defensive. If you listen to him, he's really trying to not make it show. His responses to questions reflect the fact that he's becoming a bit defensive. And something else that surprises me the most is that why is he referencing Mikel Arteta, referencing all the managers?
Yeah.
You're Chelsea manager, you don't have to say how about look at the situation of this person. If you're mentioning Mikel Arteta, look at this. Look at that. He has better record for you in the first 18 games. You have 27.8. He had 44.4. And believe me, even when we had players injured, you could argue players that he had available to him at that point were still better than the team Arteta had.
Yeah.
So it didn't make sense to me this year. I don't know. Sorry, I didn't know you weren't saying this. It didn't make sense to me that he's comparing himself to Arteta and Klopp and those people. They start to life. Look at this, 27.8%.
Terrible.
And look at Arteta, 48. That's nearly twice as much as he is.
That's terrible.
And he's still, and he's still comparing himself to them. I don't know. I think I'm not sure what's going to happen. Also, you need to have a sole I saw something. Okay, what players make hungry like a Real? Okay, maybe I understand that. I'd like to be I'd like to be a fly on the wall when Bali explains it to the Clear Lake why there's 100 million in losses from sacking managers after only 1 year. I'd still argue probably again maybe the reason that they've been a bit reluctant to sack a ground bother is that it's going to be an expensive decision. And I
But
think I've said that 1,000 times. Yeah, go ahead.
they've put themselves in that position. That's the most annoying part, is that they put themselves in that position, and now they're screwed. They're screwed. They can't sack him. Now that's the issue I have. They put him in a position where he's got a £60 million contract. I don't know what clause he has. If we can lower the compensation fee, I don't know. But the owners did this. The owners did this, and I said it at the time. You sack Tuchel, this better work out. If it don't work out, the Chelsea fans will flip out, because Tuchel was a fan favourite. Tuchel was a fan favourite at the Bridge. He had a banner out. And the fact that you sacked him for Graham Potter, who's now massively underperforming, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all.
No, it's not. It's not looking good, really. It's crazy, and I don't really want to talk about his salary because it's not my business. They gave him that. They deal with it, but no, they have to really. I don't know, because it gets worse. If we miss out of Champions League, it gets even worse. He could still be the manager, and plus us missing out of the Champions League, which hits the club's pocketbooks, it gets worse. So they should decide quick on what to do. Hello to you too, Chama. I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for finding the time to join the show. I know what you're doing, Kachila. Of course, you are. Now he's trying to be nice to me. No, we're fighting already, DJ. So, yeah, but thank you. Fahim is spitting fat. For me, I've been spitting crap all day. Yes, Kachila was happy when Chelsea. Chama, do you have to bring this up? Do you really? Yeah, I was happy because I liked the way his Brighton team played. But little did I know, all he was able to do for them was just to get them play as a unit. But right now we're learning more as we're paying attention more. But the question is, didn't the owner see that he had a 31 win percentage at Brighton before they hired him? I think it was tied. It was tied that dug that out. But again, even when I learned about that, I still said maybe they hired him as a potential with the thinking that if he comes to Chelsea with the crop of players we have, he'll be able to achieve more than he achieved at Brighton. Let's see what else do we have here. Paul, it's been a minute. Nice to see you. Arsenal weren't even good when Arteta took charge. They even won the FA Cup. Exactly. So yeah. Hello everyone. Hello to you too. Yeah, go ahead. You wanted to say something, bro?
I just don't understand why did he compare us to Arsenal? Arsenal have not even won the title yet. Yes, they're top of the league, but they're not even won the title yet. They can still bottle it anytime. The City can still win it. But the fact that we're being compared to Arsenal is embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. We should be striving for City, should be striving for Real Madrid, that sort of level. Arsenal still have a long way to go. They still have a long way to go.
Yeah, the season isn't even close to finishing. But one thing is sure, they will make top four no matter what happens. Do I think they'd win it? I have the doubt. Thanks for hijacking Mudrik. 100 million. Here's the thing, Mudrik will come good. He hasn't played football for 6 months plus or so, given the conflict in his country and all of that. So don't worry, he will come good. Don't feel like you've won. Fahim, bro, when are you having a live stream?
Hopefully
Fahim,
tomorrow.
That question is for you.
Hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow.
Hopefully tomorrow. You're listening. Hopefully tomorrow, the game preview, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I have
and
a lot
the link.
to talk about.
Sorry.
I have a lot to talk about because I haven't done a stream.
He has a lot because he hasn't spoken for a while. So now that he's going to speak about quite a lot. So don't miss it. And I think what we'll do, probably, what time tomorrow?
Maybe around 4 p.m.
Okay, so if you schedule it, I think as I'm scheduling, I think I should see your show so that I'll redirect people to it so that they can go. We should do that. If I have any issue doing that, I'll reach back. Yep, tomorrow he says don't miss it. And look at the link. See the link to his channel at the very top. Please go subscribe and also drop a like on the stream. We have 39 likes. And if you can afford it, we have a membership of $2.99. If you can afford it, I'd appreciate it if you can become a member. That will help us start, more importantly, the program that I want the community to start supporting students every month. If that makes sense to you, have I read this one? Sorry. I am optimistic. If Porter wins the next two, he deserves 2 more games. Yeah, maybe we'll be going 2 more games by 2 more games, whatever happens. Kachila, don't apologize for backing Porter. We all hoped that Porter would do well. Chama, did you hear that? So don't come at me again with that argument. We also hoped that our data-driven owners did their homework. Yeah, that's another question. Did they not look at their data and find out his team were then Brighton they struggled to score goals, plus he had 31 win percentage, and they still upped his salary more than how many? That's more than 300%, right? He was on 2 million a year. Now they're paying him 12 million. That's how many?
It's that's
up to 600 more percentage increase in salary.
Oh my goodness.
God, please let such happen to me. I would take it.
I don't know what they were thinking.
Oh my goodness. 600 million spent with 29% win rate. It's embarrassing. You think? Okay, I agree. For Arsenal is a product of team. Yep, mainly. What else do we have here? Anything else to read? I still believe Modric will come good. Yep, I still believe so too. He looked a bit confused. A lot of our players currently do. Even Enzo has broken the record as the most dribble passed player. That's not a good record to break. I will be there tomorrow. Yep, good job. Be there, bro. I appreciate you saying that. Seriously, to the guy on the right, forget that comparison to Madrid. Chelsea cannot even be compared to Arsenal. Even Everton has doubled the league titles. Chelsea have. Oh yeah, banter. I'm tired right now. Come early next time so we can talk about that. I will be there tomorrow. Yep, and I hope to see you then. Hopefully, I will be there myself, except if I have anywhere I'm going. Bobby Fairview, see you also. Yep, see you for him. More importantly, on our Chelsea brother from another mother. Yep, it's love here. Eugene, thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, Eugene, not yep. We're family here. Let me see what else we have to look at here so we can call it a day soon. So Fahim, don't slip on the screen. Some update here. Let's go for it. This one talks about official Andres Santos is moving back to Brazil, rejoining his previous club, Vasco da Gama, on loan. To me, that's a better option than joining Palmeiras, because Palmeiras will be a new team. It still needs time to adapt. And we don't have too much time to the end of the season, because I believe the agreement is for him to be on loan till the end of the season. And then they try to get him work permit to join us. So had he joined Palmeiras, it needs adaptation time. And then, which means probably will not allow him the time to just, to kick off the moment he joins them. But with Vasco da Gama, he already knows the players. He has bond with them. He's played with them. So it will be easy. He just continue from where he stopped, if that makes sense. This Arsenal has no chance to win Champions League, and how, again, the EPL. Big up to you, Jesse. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Lateness is greatness. I don't think we have too much time, but yeah, at least you joined us. More importantly, I hope you're doing well. Please do let me know. Big up, Jesse. Our Chelsea brother too. Yep, that language, I think I should be using that myself. This one, I don't know if you have anything to add, or should I move on?
Andres Santos, I mean, it was the right decision. I mean, where else would he go? He had to go back. So back to his previous club for sure. I mean, you mentioned it, yeah.
He's probably the best option.
And they develop better if he was, development as well. So instead of just sending him to a new club and trying to adapt to that, you go back to the same club and develop better there. So yeah, happy for that.
Yeah, it makes sense. Again, if you're asking what's up with the daily roundup show, I've talked about it. It's a show where we go through all the stuff that's talked about in the news that's aligned with Chelsea Football Club. We'll put them in a single bucket, analyze and present it to you in a very concise manner. So if you were at work or at school during the day, you wouldn't miss anything if you're here for the daily roundup show, if that makes sense. Kostuko came on Twitter. Did he? I'm not sure what you're referencing right there. But that's, by the way, look, another topic we have here is this. Buying the 1.2 acre site would be a huge boost to any plans to build on the existing site, as it would provide Chelsea with increased space for fans of parks and offices, leaving enough room for a new state-of-the-art stadium that could hold at least 55,000 plus. For me, I want us to be the biggest in England, but I don't think we have enough space there. Even if we end up buying those businesses surrounding the current Stamford Bridge vicinity, I would say let's go for more. But what do you think? I think we talked about this during the Blue Morning Show, and at IQ, I think knocking down the current structure and building from scratch, I think will be cheaper. Because if you want to build around what you already have, which means the engineers will have to find a way to get to the farm, because you have to change the foundation no matter what you think.
Yeah.
So I think it will be even costlier. So it wouldn't make any sort of sense. But if you have to add to that, your thoughts.
Yeah, I thought so is it the maximum capacity not
I think this
65,000?
is just more of estimation for
Okay.
a new state-of-the-art stadium that could. The word "could" is the key word for me.
Yeah.
Hold up to, yeah, but go ahead, at least so to speak.
I mean, it needs to be redeveloped. I mean, I haven't really read into the new. I did see it, but I didn't really read into it. Are they like trying to knock down the whole stadium, or are they trying to redevelop it?
I think what I heard, they're still deciding whether to knock it down and build from
Oh,
scratch,
okay.
which I think, to me, like I said before, that would probably be the more economical of the two options
Yeah.
than trying to build around what we have. I think it will be very difficult, really. Engineers will charge you. If you ask me, I'm not again an engineer myself, but I think it doesn't make any sort of sense if we pay attention to it. You can dream. Okay, here's the thing here. I nearly jumped that. Chama says, I dreamed about a TT. Is it coming back to the EPL? I don't think so. I think the opportunity was, we heard rumors that Sports wanted him because there's a chance Antonio Conte leaves at the end of the season. But then again, he said he doesn't want to coach Sports. What we heard in recent days was that there's a chance he goes back to PSG. We don't know. For me, I think he may well end up at Real Madrid. It depends on the Carlo Ancelotti situation. Even Barcelona, it depends on if what's his name, Xavi doesn't improve his European form. They're doing well in the league, but they struggle in Europe. But let's see what happens. I think he probably know he has a chance because Barcelona wanted him. They wanted him, so there's a chance. Again, a chance he goes there. What else do we have? Bowling prioritizes priorities, so to speak, should be how to avoid relegation, not this PR stunts. They are coming forward with about a fans advisory board, new stadium, new players, etc. Maybe all these to play a stock. Maybe, I don't know. Fahim, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, the fan advisory thing, it looks. Let's see how much impact it does. I don't want to get too ahead. It sounds very good for sure. I mean, having the fans' opinions, but whether that actually matters in the actual decisions, we have to wait and see. But it sounds good. I got to say that it sounds good. I mean,
Yeah, it does sound good on paper. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
a lot of the stuff that we've been doing, signing players, they all sound good, but no results. We need results. We need the 3 points. We need to score goals as well. So that's what we need to do.
Oh yeah, because the question is, one thing is to start the fans advisory board. The other question is, they listen to you, but I want to ask you, would they do what you say? So listening to you is one thing. Having you gather and decide we want this to happen, the question is, are they going to do it? For instance, they're not just going to fire Graham Potter because you want them to fire Graham Potter.
Exactly.
So is this something? I don't think. But again, if it makes the fans feel like they're part of the process, fine. I think they will enjoy it. But does that mean that whatever they want, whatever the fans want them to do, that they would do it? I don't think so, really. Why nobody of did I miss? Okay, I read that. Why nobody of big head in club cannot say something in public? I don't know. That's a funny way to refer to them. No, Ancelotti always lose derbies, but no, I'm not just counting the derby. He's not any younger. And there's a chance they might want a younger man. I don't know. But I don't think he'd be there forever. It's Real Madrid after all. and Tuchel wouldn't mind going there for just 3 years. They don't keep a manager that young. Let's see what else do we have here. In my country, United, Arsenal, Liverpool are the most supported clubs. All your lucky money cannot buy fans. What country? Where are you from? I want to know. I'm from India.
Sure.
Okay, big up to you, bro. I hope people in India are doing well. Let's look at all the topics we have here so that I can let my bro go get some sleep. This one here, Chelsea fended off a big interest from Liverpool and Barcelona in January to sign Benoit Badiashile. Badiashile has his heart set on a move to Chelsea and loves the club. Probably why it was easy for him to be dropped out of the Champions League.
I mean,
No, but as much as we knew, I suspected he was going to be the one because probably Felix, his contract, probably there's a chance, there's a clause in it that says he must play in the Champions League before he joins, something as Mudryk and all that. I don't know if you have anything to say to that. If not, we move on from that.
I mean, they tried to hijack our players like in the summer targets that we had. So I don't care. Barcelona can hold that. I don't care. They're in the
Okay,
European League. They're in the
let them
Europa
hold
League.
that. But again, yeah, Badiashile,
Oh no,
what
wait,
a
they got
player.
knocked out. I forgot they got knocked out. I forgot they got
Mind
knocked
you,
out.
knocked them out. Yeah, what a thrilling two-leg football that was.
Yeah, I didn't even watch it. I forgot they got knocked out.
Oh my goodness, the first leg was crazy.
Yeah,
Really.
I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. But to me, Xavi struggles in Europe. I don't think they give him, even though they've been saying in public they give him more time. I think at one point, out of respect, they just tell him, finish the season, but we want to try something else.
Yeah.
I get it. They respect him. He's a club legend and all that. Barley loves scoring an own goal. What happens when he goes against the advice of the fan board? Chaos. Yeah, I don't think that will ever happen. I've argued that before. Yep, that one. Let's move on. Anything else we have to talk about here? Chelsea are preparing a mega offer for Victor Osimhen this summer, with Todd Boehly prepared to double his current salary. Here's the thing: the question I want to ask: are they doing this with intent to still keep Potter? Because if Potter is still Chelsea manager, as much as he's from my birth country, as much as I know. Again, I like him as a player. He doesn't fit the way Graham Potter plays. This will be, I get it, he's better than Lukaku in terms of touches. He's better aerially, even though he's not the tallest. He's quicker and all that, but I don't want him at Chelsea, really. I'd see, again, I'm foreseeing Lukaku 2.0 if he comes, in the sense, because Thomas Tuchel, one thing he has in common is, I wouldn't say dislike for traditional number 9s. They don't play with traditional number 9s, really. Both of them. You could say that's why probably he's struggling to accommodate, what's his name? I get it. Aubameyang isn't the quickest out, again, given his age and all that. But I wouldn't advise him to come to Chelsea. And it's not going to come cheap. So somewhat you could argue this doesn't make sense, because we're still in need of an central attacking midfielder. We're still in need of a traditional DM, which none of them will come cheap. So I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. I think this signing, it'll be a very costly signing, and a lot of clubs are going to go for him. Is it really worth spending so much time and energy on a position that it is important, but we've also got midfield positions that need to be filled, that need to be prioritized more, in my opinion, because we've always lacked the balance in midfield for many, many years. We've lacked that DM. We need to sort that out. Sort the midfield first, and then sort the maybe striker position. We also need to sort the goalkeeping position maybe in the future. Who knows? Goalkeeping position. Maybe Kepa might not stay longer, or Mendy might be sold. I don't know. That could be an issue. So I wouldn't really try waste so much time and energy on Osimhen. I like the player. I really do like the player. I wouldn't mind him
But
at
do
Chelsea.
you suspect it again? Do you think he'd work on that ground? But I don't think so. Especially now that we create chances. The few we create, chances we create, 99.9% of the times do come from the flanks and all on the carpet, which makes it very predictable. We hardly create chances from the central area, and he will struggle. But go ahead with what you're saying. Do you think if he comes, he works on the ground, Potter? I don't think so, really.
I mean, I don't know about Graham Potter, but if it was any top coach, it would work. But I don't think. Like you said before, number nines, traditional number nines, is not really the thing in modern football. It's more of the inside forwards. It's more of the wingers are scoring the goals rather than the strikers. You may have the odd, Harry Kane, Lewandowski, those strikers who are good at dropping deep, who are good at scoring goals.
Mhm.
You have that, but I don't see Osimhen as that sort of striker. I see Osimhen as a striker that likes to run in behind. And to be honest, I don't think it would be a good fit to have Osimhen
It will not.
in this team right now. I don't think it's a good fit. Someone like Harry Kane, it would be a good fit, but not for me. Not Osimhen. We need this other position that need to be sorted better than the striker position, in my opinion.
Yeah, Justice has been one of the best signing of window of this window. Instant impact comes with Fabregas compliments I miss him so much. The player, I think, is it? You can say the last player we had that is capable of creating chances from the central area was Fabregas, because Mata left before him, right? So it was him. Mata was able to do that for almost creating chances from the central area. Fabregas did it, and then after him, no. Okuchila, again, you finally agree with me for Lukaku 2.0. I've been saying that. I was one of those that argued that Lukaku will not work under Thomas Tuchel. I've been saying that all the while. But take it. I agree with you, Fahim. I love you, bro. Finally, someone who knows that midfield is still a problem. Wow.
I think a lot of Chelsea fans know that the midfield has been the issue for so long. I've been vocal about it. I think a lot of Chelsea content that Coachella, I'm pretty sure you'd be very vocal about this midfield issue that we've been having for a long time.
You did not. Him and I fight all the time. Don't worry, I'm good to it. So he probably just wants to support my guest and not me, but I'm okay. I will survive.
Big up, man.
Where is Edouard Mendy, the goalkeeper? A broken finger, but Mendy, well, to me, he's another situation that's difficult to deal with. His contract, he still has about 3 years left or so, or 2.5 years or so. So the club will not be in a hurry to offer him what he's asking. Plus, you could argue he doesn't. Again, as much as I know, people don't give him enough credit given how good he is with his feet. But in that department, what's his name? Kepa is better, which suits the way Graham Potter likes to play mainly than him. So it'd be difficult for him to regain the first spot. So for me, I'd rather him leave to go to somewhere else where he becomes the first choice. I don't think Mendy will accept playing second fiddle to anybody. He's a Senegalese international. He's won everything nearly. And plus, if you ask him, he'd argue he's better than Kepa Arrizabalaga. Yeah, for given how things has gone on the Thomas Tuchel, and all that. But I don't want to get into that. And I don't want to get into an argument as to which of the two goalkeepers is better than the other. I think he's good. I think he's equipped to do even better than Kepa. But the form we saw before he got injured, it wasn't like Tuchel dropped him. Actually, he got injured before he was dropped to the bench. It was horrendous. And things happened at the World Cup that showed he hasn't fully recovered from that. He still hasn't regained the form and the hunger he showed when he joined us at first. I think that's what I want to see. Maybe he's lost that hunger. Italian league is not so competitive. Recent history has shown players from Italy struggle to succeed in the Premier League, where small club bulls like a Lukaku are a hit. Avoid overpaying. I think we should. More importantly, again, my main point is that he doesn't sit the way Graham Potter likes to approach football. That's my argument first of all. Plus, he's played all his life as a traditional number 9. If you try to get him to fit in a fluid approach like we would like, I think he'd struggle, which means it needs time to start playing that way. Kuchila, if you don't want Osimhen, which player do you want? Let's assume Graham Potter leaves and we get Jose Mourinho. Osimhen will become the best striker in the whole world.
Yeah,
that's a Mourinho thing.
I agree.
That's a Jose Mourinho thing. Even Lukaku would do well under Jose Mourinho because Mourinho likes to play with traditional number 9. He likes his number 9 to be a bully. And that's the man for him. But if it's still Graham Potter, no. Hansi Flick, no. Even I'd say Luis Enrique, no.
Mhm.
Those are managers who are into having a fluid approach. It's something for seeing him comes and then some match they'll look at him and say, okay, you know what? I think we need him to bully the defense. So that's why I'm saying he shouldn't come, not because he's a bad player, but because the manager we have doesn't play that way. But why can't they score goals? I don't know. Maybe I'd have to go consult a higher power to find out, really. It's difficult to say. Mendy will be back in training in 2 weeks. I think we'll have a few minutes to round up. Let me see what else we have here. Let's see. Sorry, Chama, Mendy back in training in 2 weeks. But it's been saying a few days for long now. But let's see how long it stays out. This one, no way, Coach Lukaku makes our staff walk over time looking for exercise. Respect yourself. I'm not going to read that again because I really do want to go to heaven. But I get where you're coming from. It's not for you, Kachila, for people in the chat. Okay, brother. Did this guy say we don't need Osimhen? On the ground, Potter, we don't. If you get my point, if you're paying attention to my argument, I'm not saying he's not a good player. We will frustrate him. He will not get the services as long as we still have this current team. We'll have too many hybrid players. We don't have specialists in the attacking area. He will run, make good crossing, and will still not get the ball, if that makes sense. He will get frustrated. They're not saying we don't need him now. Maybe if Jose Mourinho was our coach, yeah, I said bring him. Like I said, under Mourinho, he'd be the best player in the world, if that makes sense. But right now, no. With our current approach, no, he shouldn't come. He's from my birth country, and I want him to do well, if that makes sense. Osimhen will suit Chelsea under Graham Potter. That's what I'm asking you. That's the argument. Just look at the number. If we had the same argument before we signed Romelu Lukaku, that was the same issue we had. Multiple individuals were missing chances. It wasn't just Kai Havertz. Silva was missing chances. All our players were. And then somebody came up with the idea, you know what? Let's go with Lukaku. Let's go for Lukaku. Forgetting that once you get a traditional number 9 and he is on the pitch, the moment we get to the final third of the attacking area, the focus becomes to find that number 9.
I think,
and once the number 9 is played out of the game, you're done. Go ahead, Fahim, if you wanted to say something.
I think under Graham Potter, he has played traditional number 9s at Brighton. He's played Daniel Alves. I know the level's different, but he does. I've heard that he prefers having those strikers inside the box. I mean, I heard a report as well that he wanted a box striker, someone in the box to score the goals. Danny Welbeck, he had Glenn Murray, he had Neil Maupay. He does like to have traditional strikers, but I think the point is that is it that much?
You're referring to what's the former Manchester United player? What's his name? Danny Welbeck.
Yeah.
He's hybrid. He's played as a hybrid all this time. He hasn't. That's where the argument comes. But I get what you're saying. But do you really think it would be a good idea to buy Osimhen for Graham Potter?
For now, like the prices, like 100 million. No, I don't think it's worth it for now. No, I think we need to invest it wisely rather than just splashing so much money on one player. Like we're not wisely spending for the past few windows. We need to wisely spend on this summer window because we need to strengthen that midfield more importantly than the striker position. We've got a lot of attackers. We've got too many attackers, but we've not got quality midfielders. That's what we need.
Yep, I agree with you. We need a quality midfielder, again, especially our central attacking midfielders to create chances from us from the center area. But a lot of people, again, this question is a smart one, saying people saying that Osimhen doesn't suit the way we play. The question is, I think he's asking, do we even have a way we play? I think that's what he needs to, because he says, can someone explain to me how we play underground Potter or the system? It's hard to explain, really. If we're being honest, like Kachila, you just made a good argument to bring back Mourinho and Lukaku. Yeah, inadvertently, maybe. As much as I don't want the two of them, Mourinho is not progressive enough for me, but I'll take him over Graham Potter. It's as simple as that. We still go back to being just win by all means in most cases. When you can't beat them, just play dirty and get a win. That's the team. That's not the team I want to see. If we are getting Enrique 4-3-3, We will not need one dominating number 9. Enrique doesn't play with the traditional number 9. It has to be a hybrid number 9. Take Osimhen and Luciano Spalletti. Yeah, maybe. Then it works. Spalletti likes a traditional number 9, and he's played with Osimhen. Maybe it works, but you're going to need more than just that, if that makes sense. Let's see what we have. Guys, Chelsea has lots of Nigerian fans, so don't try to fight them. I was born in Nigeria. I grew up in Nigeria before I moved to where I am right now, but I get their argument. It's only natural that they suggest they are countrymen or brother. Of course, Osimhen is not Lukaku. I said that before. He's a better player than Lukaku, better touch than Lukaku. For me, Lukaku has one of the worst touches I've ever seen. If was the new Liverpool signing, if he has a bad touch, Lukaku has a premium bad touch. And I know that from time. Give the man the opportunity. Not about the man. I don't want to regret it. I love him. I like him as a player, but I don't want him to come to Chelsea right now. They will frustrate the life out of him. I'm being honest here. I don't know how else to explain myself.
To be honest, every time we sign number 9s, they've not worked out well. Like, it's the history of Chelsea. We've only had a few good strikers, but every time we splash so much money at strikers, quality strikers, they've not worked out. So I think it should be an indication not to just go all out for a striker, just go down the false 9 route.
Yeah, plus Osimhen is not going to come cheap. And the Napoli president, Laurenti, he's not the easiest to negotiate with. He's been in public saying, we don't want to sell him. Except it has to be something extraordinary for us to even consider. He said that plainly. So it's not. I don't think it. So now it's a signing that doesn't make sense really, because we have other areas that are. You can say Nkunku is coming. We still have Nkunku. We still have Amanda Brewer coming back. We still have Dr. Fofana. It wouldn't make any sort of sense to send him out on loan. It just doesn't make any sort of sense because it's not going to come cheap. We want Luis Enrique now before the Champions League with Dortmund. If they wanted to do that, it would have happened by now. Fahim, don't disrespect Arsenal. Cheers from India. Cheers, bro. Thank you for saying that. Fahim, buy me. He said, buy me. What? Fahim, buy me when he said that wingers needs to score goals. That's what I'm talking for weeks. Yeah, the goals need to come from all departments on the pitch, not just the attackers. But when you have a traditional attacker on the pitch, goals hardly come from because, for instance, goals hardly come from other areas. For instance, I'm going to give you an example. When we had Lukaku, whenever Lukaku is on the pitch, whether by design or you can say subconsciously, players on the pitch always look for him. And he got injured, and we started creating more chances and started scoring more goals, and the goals started coming from multiple individuals. So that's why modern managers shy away from traditional number 9s. Go ahead.
City is a great example. City is an absolutely great example. Before Erling Haaland, you had so many goal scorers. You had not just one player. They didn't rely on one player scoring all the goals. It was spread across the whole team. Same with us last season. Last season, we had so many goal scorers in our team, right? It wasn't just all Lukaku taking all the goals. We had so many goal scorers in our team. Same with City. And now you've seen City, they've added Haaland. They're looking for Haaland all the time. They're playing more direct towards Haaland to scoring all the goals. Hence why he's got more than 20 goals already in the Premier League. So goals will come if you have the right system, if you know how to play in the system, you know your role, the goals will come eventually. Right now it's not coming because there's no system. That's the problem.
Yeah, I do agree with you. If anything, what we have is confusion. Fahim, I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about before we call it a day. And I've added Fahim's the link to Fahim's channel in the description section. You will see it there. Please go join his channel. Believe me, you will not regret it. There's also his Twitter handle. It's also there. Make sure to go follow him on Twitter. He's an excellent individual, more than just a content creator, and that's what I want to be also. He's a fine individual, a very good person, and I'm sure if you ask Ty, he would tell you that. Smash the likes on everyone and subscribe. This platform always provides excellent content. Big up Kuchila and CFCFahim. Thank you so much for kindly saying that. We appreciate that. And we also have a membership. If you want to become a member, it's just $2.99 per month. that will help us start a program that I suggested so that to help us sponsor students every month. If you cannot afford it, that's fine by me. Two, what do we have here? And please don't you think Chelsea will win against Leeds United or Dortmund with Potter? I think we have the squad capable of winning them both, but we want to see what happens. Let's see. These days you can't just you can say look at games and say even when after looking at insights, insights or statistics that usually gives you an idea what would the most likely outcome will be in a game. These days you can't trust them because Chelsea is unpredictable right now. Predictably unpredictable. If I'm allowed to say that, like Roger. So, Fahim, anything else you want to talk about?
No, Coach. I think we just talked about a lot of things for sure. It was a great discussion. I enjoyed it, man. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, and thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for finding the time to join the show. Please don't forget, check out Fahim's YouTube channel and make sure to subscribe. And I want to say thank you to this Arsenal fan here for joining us. We have another channel called Soccer Perspective, approaching 1,000. I think it's 800 plus now. There we will soon still recruiting panelists. There we will talk about every club there is in the world and every competition. So if you want to be part of that, let me know. Eugene Knopfley, my friend and brother, thank you so much, and thank you for subscribing to Fahim's YouTube channel. See you there tomorrow. I hope hopefully I'm not on the road as at that time. I would like to be part of it. Amadia, DJ, every other person, Glenn was here, and JC, Bobby Fairview was also here. Big up brother, Chama Yosef, AB. Thanks to all of you. I cannot thank you guys enough. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.
I live inside my own world.